All right, the channel is live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Hello!
Yay!
I'm Christiana Ellis, and I'm trying to tweet at the same time that I talk. I'm the Dungeon Master. Our players tonight, Paul Weimer as Xenophon.
With memories restored, we leave a cursed land in better shape. Where will adventures take next? Sit, listen as words my lips escape.
I'm just remembering now that I specifically mentioned last time that I maybe shouldn't start with Paul because his very cool couplets are hard to follow. But Jason Banks is up to the challenge. He's playing Exel.
Not with rhyming, but hello, everyone.
Yeah, no pressure. Um, and next, Lee Burdett playing Flount.
A lot of fun that was.
David Archambault.
Forward to more.
Oh, David Archambault playing Dianok.
What does it mean to be forgotten?
And Nobilis playing Canthan.
Hi there.
So, last time we finished off the adventure named Sins of Our Elders. The Order of the Golden Prawn discovered that a strange mist and monster attacks that seemingly nobody could remember in the city of Ionido were down to the angry spirit of a public servant whose deeds had been overwritten and claimed by the queen at that time. And so they had been forgotten, and their spirit was angry as a result. But having uncovered this scheme to bury her reputation, you were able to show her that there were some that still did remember, even though she thought that everyone had forgotten. And in resolving the situation, you were able to persuade the existing queen that she should make sure everybody knows what this person really did. And you were well rewarded. You were given 500 gold each, cash in hand, but of course, because you work for the shield bearers, you're not, this is not just cash in hand. You are expected to turn that in to shield bearers, and you are paid, but part of the shield bearers' operating budget comes from taking their cut of adventure rewards. So I think what is determined is that they take 125 gold of that 500 from each of you, and you have the rest. And of course, this is not just like taxes in the strict sense, because you are also, provided with various resources and cost of living covered and all of that sort of thing. So
Yes,
that's the basic situation here. But after that adventure, you returned to the Radiant Citadel, and seems like you have some time to kill until you receive your next assignment.
So, as we get off the Concord Gem, Dianok was very quiet the entire trip back. They have, they just, were contemplating their bangle bracelet of bones and spells, and if anybody asked, they would say that they were thinking of home. And once we got out the Concord Gem, they would head towards the Palace of Exile and the library there.
Okay.
They would like to find out a couple things.
Okay.
One, why every Concord Gem entry or landing area is so far away from the cities.
Mm-hmm.
And two, does the Tower of Concordance mean anything to anyone?
The Tower of Concordance. What was the? I mean,
The Tower of Concordance that got from the talk with the ancestor.
Oh, okay.
Or if
I'm
that means anything with the context of what the other of what's known in the library.
right. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've just got some details being conflated in my head. So, I this would be you want to do the investigation downtime?
Sure.
All right. So let me pull that up. Uh, so yes, the Tower of Concordance was the place that you went to and weren't supposed to, and that's why you
Yeah.
were exiled.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember. I knew the
Now.
whole time. I was testing you, really.
uh-huh.
Um, okay, so the research rules are pretty straightforward. Once again, you're going to potentially invest some of your gold resources in trying to aid your attempt. And so you can get a +1 bonus to your check for every 50 gold you add to the initial 50 gold investment.
I mean, go ahead and just do 100. So
Okay.
that's a +1 then.
Yes. And so this is an intelligence check. Or wait, no, excuse me. Is
Investigation.
investigation. Well, it says intelligence check. Yeah. So
Okay.
I think I said investigation previously, but what it actually says here is intelligence.
Okay. So that would be 21 base with the +1 would be 22.
Okay, well, you have to keep rolling high and make me come up with 3 new pieces of lore. Um,
Well, I have something that I would like to do, uh, in possibly in place of one of the pieces.
okay.
Um, Basically spend some time with the dead dragon, sapphire dragon in the ancestors area.
Well, I mean that doesn't need to be instead of one of the pieces, right? I
Okay.
mean that
Well, if
what we
you
can
have
say.
trouble thinking of it,
Okay, well,
Well,
but I guess what I'm saying is maybe that's part of what you're doing, but that's not
okay,
instead of learning something, right? Like that's one of the
okay,
activities maybe you're doing.
I think what he's trying to say is that he'd like to learn something about the dead dragon.
Oh, well, okay. I
whatever.
mean,
Go ahead.
well, okay. Well, tell me what you mean. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just
Well, basically, I was thinking spending like a day or something, just kind of sitting, as close as they'll allow me to get, and just
Mhm.
kind of like reaching out, seeing if I can feel any sort of connection,
Mhm.
and just like telling stories to it, stories
Okay.
of home.
Well, so okay, what I would say is you can do that, and we can. Okay. The only thing that's just throwing me is that that's specifically different than what you said before when you said what you were researching. So that's what was throwing me. If what you want is for some of your research to be related to that, you can say that that is part of what you were doing in your research, right?
Okay.
But I guess that's why I was just confused is because it seemed like you were adding on an additional separate thing. So
Okay.
so okay. Do you want your 3 pieces of lore to be on the things that you said, or do you want maybe this to be one of them and that's how you were doing it? Like,
I'll have this be one of them.
okay. All right. So yeah, so it's not okay, never mind. Doesn't matter. uh I think that you don't you don't find that you feel or sense any connection to those spirit gems. Like when you spend time with it, the other dawn incarnates, these other sort of spiritual like gem assemblies. Uh, Sorry, gotta make my air conditioner turn off. They do prevent you from getting any closer than about 10 feet. But if you just kind of wait at that periphery and kind of don't make any attempt to get any closer, they do kind of like drift away, like they're not, they if you make it clear that you're not going to try to push it, they don't think you need to like be constantly watched, although you certainly have the sense that they would be able to respond quickly in any case. But I think that you don't feel any connection to it. These gems do feel inert, like they're not whatever they were before. They are not anymore. They are remnants, much in the same way that when a person's spirit leaves, the body is no longer that person. But it's also true that you are aware of the spell Speak with the Dead, right? So it is something that it does seem like it might be that there would be echoes of the being's knowledge there. Like there could be. It seems possible. But certainly you would need to probably push your luck in terms of what the other Dawn incarnates seem to want to allow in order to try to do that. But in the meantime, just being there in the preserve of the ancestors when there's no other mortals around and you're just watching these other Dawn incarnates do their thing, what you learn is that it's easy to look at each one and think of it as one being. But your understanding is that each of these individual little gems that sort of hovers in the shape of a larger creature is itself a different spirit. And the larger things are assemblages of these different spirits that speak with one voice. So when you look down at the form of this seemingly dead sapphire dragon, shape, it does occur to you, if each of them is or was a different spirit, is it possible that every single is every single one definitively in the same state, or might there be one or two in there that are still active? And I think that we'll say that one of your pieces of lore is just kind of a bit of a deeper understanding of that the spirits seem to choose to go with a consensus presentation, but that does not mean that they are all literally of one mind, right? And so even though the full assemblage of this sapphire dragon is dead, is that necessarily true of every single one? Maybe not. In the meantime, though, one of the things that you learn about the Concord gems and their placement where they're based is, first of all, part of what it seems to be, at least the scholarly theories that you read, is that these Concord gems were created unknown eons ago, right? So it's possible that the locations were chosen at that time for reasons that no longer make sense, right? Like perhaps there was a reason for individual specific spots at that time that is no longer true about the land today. But it's also, there are some scholars that theorize it's because they were perhaps once more dangerous to operate, and there was worry about having them too close to a populated area. And so the idea, some of these scholars think that the they were chosen specifically to be near places that there might be civilization formed, but not right on top of it, sort of specifically to avoid some unexpected catastrophe from having a direct impact on the highest density population.
Okay. Kind of putting some pieces together in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was two things, I guess. Although I kind of elaborated on both. Um, and then what was the other things
Power
that you?
of concordance.
Oh, right. I think that um, I mean, I I think what you find, and this is a bit of anti-lore perhaps, is that there are no records of your home in these documents.
Okay.
So the place that you're from is unknown to this library.
I imagine there isn't much really anything that is um, there from before the place is rediscovered.
Well, if
Right.
right, yeah. So it's hard to know exactly. Like you don't necessarily know that detail. There might be some, but regardless, there does not seem to be any record here now. Um,
Okay.
it was long ago either decayed and wasn't replaced, or was removed, or who knows. But there is no record now.
Okay. Yeah, I almost want to use Mage Hand to kind of shift through the Sapphire Dragons
Well,
gems.
I think that as you maybe were tempted there, you sensed yourself being watched by the Dawn Incarnates, and
Okay.
I'm not telling you you can't try it, but I'm telling you that they will notice
Yeah.
and might
Okay.
not like it, so there could potentially be consequences because
Oh,
they've made their feelings clear, and to skirt the rules doesn't seem like it would be looked upon pleasingly, but it's up to you.
well, like I summon the Mage Hand and I catch a glimpse of one of them watching me and just dismiss it because
Mm-hmm.
it's obviously they wouldn't be pleased. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All right.
Oh, and clarification on the money. They took of the 500 each. They took 125.
Yes.
So we would have 375 left
Yes.
each.
Well, although you
Okay.
just spent 100, so
Yeah. But yeah. Okay, and that's all for me.
okay. So who else has some downtime activity ideas?
I have decided on one.
All right.
Um, uh, Kenthan is embarking upon a quest to find the a melange of spices perfectly balanced with each other that represent all of the realms that are connected to the Radiant Citadel.
Hmm.
So, and normally, a melange has maybe 5, 8 spices. Finding a balanced melange of that many
Mm-hmm.
is a big challenge, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it quickly or easily.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what he's working towards.
So you are experimenting with combinations, trying to find something that's pleasing.
Yes, and
Okay.
gathering like, okay, this realm has 3, so I'm going to get those 3, get samples of those 3, and get samples of those. So it's going to cost some money to get all the different things,
Mm-hmm.
and decide which ones go together well, and which and just like, and um he's probably going to be taking something fairly bland like chicken or something like that, and experimenting with cooking small bits of it with different spices to try to find this mix, this blend.
Okay. I think what I might
From
actually
each of them.
suggest is still research, only we would make it a wisdom save or a wisdom check instead of intelligence.
That sounds good to me.
So
Yeah.
and there would certainly be cost too because you have to
Oh
buy the
yeah. Oh
spices,
yeah.
right?
Have to buy
But
these
yes, I
materials.
do want to just point out that you have decided that you want to create an original recipe with 15 herbs and spices.
With chicken.
Chicken. Damn, now I want some chicken.
Hey, it's a very proven business model.
So yeah, that's I had not thought of that, but yes.
Okay, so
Little
Yeah.
Canthans.
yeah, so
Radiant
obviously
Citadel chicken.
I will be interpreting your result because it's obviously you're not getting pieces of lore, but
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
we'll figure it
So,
out. But
I'm gonna spend 100 gold pieces
Okay.
On materials for this. Um, and but based on what I'm reading of the research there, that I get +1 to in addition to my wisdom bonus.
correct.
Okay, so that'd be +4. Uh, an 18.
18.
Not bad.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So, if this was research of the type that Dianok did, an 18 would represent 2 pieces of lore. And I think that in this context, okay, how about this? Let's represent this, if this is okay with you,
Okay.
as sort of filling a clock.
Right.
Each,
Yes,
each
absolutely.
piece
Yeah.
of lore that you get fills a segment, so to speak.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And so we certainly reflect that as, learning like, okay, well, these two seem to pair well together. But if you put too much of this third one in, then it starts to overwhelm those. And, you're just like finding,
Yeah.
learning
Yeah.
about those but how do you feel about a 6-point clock that you would have now filled 2
That
segments in?
sounds great to me. And at this point, let's say that what I've done is I've taken like there's probably like 30 or 50 different spices from all these, because there's all the
Yeah.
each one is going to have several different things to possibly represent. And at this point, I have like settled on the 15 things that are going to go into it. And now it's a matter of, okay, how are they going to be prepared and how are they going to be balanced?
Mm-hmm.
And working on proportions and refining the list,
Mm-hmm.
rather than actually picking them. And if I have, if I have a setback or something, then I have to, replace one or something. But,
Mm-hmm. So I want to know, how does the rest of the group fare with Canthan using your house's kitchen to produce what is certainly an overwhelming and constantly evolving melange of powerful smells?
Remember Xenophon's Noah used to very basic, not very interesting food. So Xenophon's gonna be. We'll get to what Xenophon is doing in the meantime when it comes up to me for downtime. But he's spending lots of downtime away to let Canthan do his experimentation without overwhelming his olfactory senses.
Enoch is just like, with all the normal smells of their spell casting, the spices makes for a very interesting and often hunger-inducing scent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Flounce is following Xenophon in the vacating the premises at the earliest opportunity, and we'll go from there.
Exel's hovering around. he hasn't seen anything to eat, so to speak. So he's wondering if there's actually going to be a product that he can taste test. So like if so as Kant then looks up, he'll see like periodically like Ixel's just kind of peeking in there, kind of he's just grinding things like, and to him it almost seems like he's making like doing things of an arcane nature, because he's probably like researching and looking and grinding things and like putting them together and making different powders and so forth, and he's just like very intrigued because he has no idea how to cook.
Well,
so.
I've got to imagine that a lot of this experimentation is not only on the spices by themselves. You got to be trying
Yeah.
them on things, right? So I would
Right.
imagine just like every meal this week is kind of like a roll the dice adventure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
we need a Constitution saving throw, honestly.
Well, and I think especially anyone who leaves the house for even just an hour or so, coming back in is just like walking into a wall when you open the door. It's just whoa, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my eyes are watering.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the reverse mask rule. You wear the mask when you come into the house, not when you leave it.
But you're making progress. So you can mark yourself down as having 2 segments
Two
of a
of
6.
2 of 6 successes.
Killed, yeah.
on the,
All right, great. So who else is some downtime?
Flounce is out. Well, first thing she had to do was go find herself some thieves' tools, which was an adventure, I'm sure.
So I
And-
think thieves' tools are the sort of like ordinary, mundane adventuring gear that you can get from the shield bearer quartermaster.
Yeah. But exchanging the breastplate for the thieves' tools.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, no, this didn't work out. Give me one of those. So she's managed to get her hands on some thieves' tools, and she's spending the rest of her time in training with jewelers' tools.
All right. So I think, as we had established last time, the training. So the original idea was your intelligence modifier is +1, right? And so we
Right.
had established it would take 9 weeks total, and you had one already. So this would be, would bring it down to 7 remaining, and at the cost of 25 gold for this week.
Yep. That was what my thought was. But I need to do a complication.
Oh yes, yeah. Go ahead and roll a d10, and for that matter, actually, let's have both Dianak and Kanthan roll their own as well.
Okay. I'm going to roll it manually.
All right, that's a 4 for Kanthan, 7
I got a
for
7.
Flounce, yeah, and 6 for Dianak. So no complications for any of you. Good job. Well done.
Okay.
You know,
I could say if there was a complication for DNI, could be they actually did try to do the mage hand thing and just and got removed.
All right. So, what sorts of things are you doing as you're learning? You're practicing with the jeweler's tools. Have you bought like just cheap costume gems and rings and stuff,
Yeah.
and you're just sort of practicing, or because you
Yeah.
found here, this is something we didn't do last time, but we probably should, is you are working the services of an instructor. So I think probably you could have either found someone in the shield bearers or just someone in town to kind of just like part-time apprentice to.
Yeah, I think I found somebody in town to apprentice to, and it's just this crotchety old guy who won't tell me his name. He just says, "Call me master."
Okay.
Give me my gold and I'll put you to work. And
Well, so I think that we've got to give this guy a name, though, right? Like it's fine if he says, "Does my name doesn't matter to you because you call me master."
Yeah.
But he probably does have a name, though, right?
Yeah, I'll have to.
The nameless one.
No.
Yeah, I feel like he would say that, and then like the assistant who runs the counter would just say, "It's Ted."
There are those who call me Ted.
Yes.
I just have in my mind, like every time he tells you to do something, you do it. He says, "I have spoken."
Yeah.
This is the way.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we might have a shot of. Well, so what does Ted look like? What race is Ted? Is he?
Um, I think.
Maybe an Earth Genasi?
Yeah, that would make sense. And I like the fact that his name is Ted.
All right, good. So I think we have a shot of this Earth Genasi with sort of maybe, sort of like granite gray skin, obsidian and like slicked back looking hair, and holding up this simple little cheapy but assembled by you ring, and looking at it in the light. Now do it again. Poof. Nice.
Yeah, because this is actually building into my rune carver.
Yeah.
My
That
rune
makes
carver
sense.
bit.
All right. Cool. How about Xenophon or Exel?
Xenophon has been, and the player got inspired about 10 seconds after you said, well, what time we're having, to do something he hasn't done yet, which is unusual for a bard. He's going to go to various establishments that allow for lack of a better word, spoken poetry, and is going to relay some of his adventures in rhyme and meter for audiences
Okay.
as a way, kind of like almost like improve his skills in some ways.
Sure. Sure.
And also just to share, because like he's all about collecting all these stories and being part of these stories, so now he wants to share them with people besides the Order of the Golden Crown and like get out there.
Yeah. Well, so I think there's a couple of different ways that we could do that, right? One could be we could have it be work, but it is, just that's the work that you're doing. We could have it be carousing. Um, so I guess what would be the goal? Like, what is it? So other than you're choosing this activity, but what is it that Xenophon is hoping to gain from that? Is he just socializing? Is he practicing something?
Practicing, I would say.
Okay.
He's practicing this bardic college that he's gotten himself into. So yeah, so it's really trying to sharpen up his skills in that regard. So
Okay. Do you have proficiency in performance already?
yeah.
Okay. Well, do we want to just call it work then?
Yeah, let's call it work then.
Okay. I think in this context, well, and in fact, actually, one of the
Oh, wait a minute!
things
I'm only half proficiency in performance.
well, that's okay. So you potentially we could do training to give you proficiency in performance, but work actually offers that performance is one of the that's like it suggests that that's like bard using a musical instrument, for example, is you do that for work, and that's performance. But like the primary thing that it reflects there is that you would earn some money doing it. Like that's what the work downtime thing produces. If you want it to be more like training, we could do that.
Yeah. I want to be more like training.
Okay. Well, so then that's going to be a bit like Flounce's Flounce's thing. So I think we need to create an instructor. Unless how about this?
Mhm.
The instructor in your case is not an individual. It is the regular crowd at some poetry jam
Yeah.
locale, some beatnik bar here in the Radiant Citadel that does, jam poetry.
And the MC is got a name.
The MC. We need an MC. The MC is got yeah. Athlis Athlis Payne, Payne, Athlispayne, and he is a um. Let's go with let's keep with the Ganassi theme. He's an air Ganassi.
Okay, so did you said Atreus
Yeah, Atreus Payne.
and then Payne? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, Air Genasi. So the name that came to me for this place is maybe not 100% on brand, but what came to me was Rad City.
Hmm.
I don't
I'll
know
take
what
it. I'll
you like
take
that?
it. I'll take it. Art's got to know different.
Rad
scenes.
City, the poetry bar.
Rad City, the poetry bar. So it is.
All right. So I think in this context, then training, this is an element of like you're essentially, it's like you're paying membership dues to be given access to this place where there's a stage that you can perform in. It's like a private club.
Okay, how much?
Well, so we're using this as the training mechanic, right?
Okay.
So it is 25 gold per week to do it.
Okay. 25
What
a
is your intelligence modifier?
My intelligence modifier is +2.
Okay, and you have half proficiency because you're a bard, right? So
Yeah.
so we'll go ahead and say that to get full proficiency, it would be half the total amount of time because
Okay.
you're practiced already, right? You need half more to have full. So 5 weeks, and then you said your intelligence modifier is
2. Yep.
2. Okay, so you only need 3 weeks worth to get your full proficiency for performance.
Right,
But do
that's-
go ahead and roll a d6.
A D6.
I've been saying d10 for everybody, but I'm looking at it. It's actually a d6 for training.
4.
Oh no, excuse me. Yeah, so d6 is if you do get a complication. So do please roll a
Oh.
d10. Yeah.
A 3.
Okay. No complication. But so in any case, you you now only need 2 more weeks of training at the at Rad City in order to
All right.
yeah. You guys like you get the name, right? Like it's not, I don't think it's obscure, but I just like it's I just was, I don't know, I was feeling
Oh.
insecure about it.
Radiant Citadel.
Yeah.
Rad City.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So Exel, what are you getting up to this week?
Well, hopefully, not finding a demon summoner.
Did you ever report that?
I did report it to the shield bearers, but
Mm-hmm.
we don't know what happened with that. He's gonna again try to commune with the voice that he has talked to since he was young.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't work, he's going to try and find someone who is magically inclined that may be able to assist him.
Okay. Well, so what did we do last time for that? I forget. Did we treat that like research?
Yes, but
Okay.
I think we used arcane. I think.
Right. Well, so in this case, I think what I had been saying before was investigation, but it is actually intelligence. So I think in this context, because you're meditating specifically on your patron connection, I think it would be a charisma check instead. But I think you are going to need to spend the gold cost on, kit for your ritual, so to speak.
Right.
So that's 50 gold to start, and then for every additional 50, you get a +1 to your check.
Um, you know what? I will spend. I'll go ahead and spend 150.
You were leaning away from the mic.
Yeah, sorry, that'll be 100. 100. I'll spend 100. I'll spend the initial 50 plus another 150, so that's 200.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then you'll get a +3 to your charisma check. What specifically are you hoping to get from your patron connection?
One, he doesn't know who they are. He also doesn't know what type of abilities he's wielding. Like, it was a mysterious voice that he talked to as a kid that guided him to the portal that ended up leading him to the Radiant Citadel. But it's very mysterious since then, like, or the whole time. And so he's still coming into these powers. Like, he's getting stronger and he's learning, new abilities, but he doesn't know where any of it comes from.
Okay, well, go ahead and make a charisma check, and you get an extra +3 on there.
So